Hey, what's going on everyone? I'm the OPJellicent and I'm battling here for week number 7 of WPL season number 8, up against Storm and his San Diego Sneasels, someone I've known for quite a while right now. I believe I've known him for probably more than 3 years, but we've battled quite a few times. I'm currently 3-2 against him in the format, and the last time I played him, which I think was season 7, week 3, I didn't do very well. It was probably like bottom 5 worst games I've played regarding how well I did, and I definitely want to go ahead and try to bounce back right here. So let's go ahead and hop right into team preview. I have my kyurem-black right here, along with my Torn. They're both assault vest pivots right here. I figured they would help me pivot into a lot of his special offense, being Keldeo, Mega Blastoise, and Koko. I did invest this Kyurem to take 2 Specs Dazzling Gleams from Koko, so it's a very slow spread right here, just designed to take hits and fire off big hits back right here. Torn is my main Keldeo response, and it can also go ahead and take 2 Ice Beams from Blastoise, so really relying on these 2 Pokemon to take a lot of the hits this match. My Azelf right here is actually an Electrium Z-set, which can help me out against both the Keldeo and the Mega Blastoise right here. Definitely, actually it's regular Blastoise, it's Mega Scissor, but I do gotta be careful about Choice Scarf Keldeo, and I gotta make sure that Blastoise is in range, or else I could maybe take a Dark Pulse or something back and be knocked out. Or I could even take a Torrent boosted water type attack, so all things I have to keep in mind right here. My Fortress is a red card, and this is my failsafe against the Hawlucha right here. If he actually ends up setting up that Hawlucha with the Tapu Koko, of course, I can go ahead and phase him out with that red card Fortress right here, and that'll be out of the game basically. My Jolteon right here is a 3rd Assault Vestmon actually, can go ahead and more reliably pivot into the Koko if it does have that Specs Dazzling Gleam, because I would love to keep kyurem-black healthy obviously, right? Just to more help out against the Blastoise right here. And then finally a Choice Scarf Diggersby, which is basically meant to ideally be a late game cleaner, but it can also go ahead and check stuff like not Choice Scarf Keldeo and the Koko right here. So that's going to be my team. The main game plan right here is just to use my pivots to go ahead and wear down his team, and then maybe go for an end game with either Choice Scarf Diggersby or my Azelf after I've scouted out his Scarfer right here. So let's go ahead and hop right in. I decided to go, well, he leads off with Koko right here as I lead off with my Azelf. Definitely have no business staying in right here because he could be Specs or even like banded with Wild Charge or U-turn. So I'm going to go ahead and pull a switch out here into my Jolteon as he's going to go for that U-turn. Reveals to be a special set. That would have done more if he was anything else. And this next turn, this kyurem-black play was actually kind of bad because I know he likes to run offensive Donphan, and I definitely should have kept kyurem-black healthy for the Blastoise and out of range of the Keldeo Secret Sword. But unfortunately, I make a little bit of a misplay right here and switch it in. It's going to take quite a lot from this Earthquake right here, but thankfully I'm going to go ahead and fire off this Ice Beam next turn, and just like last week, kyurem-black's going to go ahead and freeze a Pokemon. So that turn he told me he actually clicked Fairy Z. I think it gets player off, so that would have been able to go ahead and knock out my kyurem-black, and that definitely really sucks for him right here, as this next turn he's just going to go ahead and suck it off. I go for HP Fire, which kind of sucks that I actually have to reveal my item right there, but I figured that in case he went out into the Mega Scissor, I wanted to go ahead and knock that out. And yeah, that's totally fine right here. He probably knows that I'm not choiced because of my bulk. He probably calculated the Earthquake anyway. Mega Scissor comes in right here, and I'm just going to go ahead and switch out into my Torn. I was so tempted to stay in that turn, but if he Bullet Punched, I would have been in a bad spot right here. So Torn is my safe pivot, even though I know for a fact he's probably going for U-turn right here, as that is exactly what he does. Gets a crit, which isn't too big of a deal because of my Regenerator, and this next turn, I go right out into my Diggersby on a Thunderbolt. He's just making the safe play right here. If he had Dazzling Gleam, that could have been a smart click right there too, but it didn't knock out Torn, and if I made a bad play and like stayed in, I could have Sludge Waved him, so I definitely understand what he was trying to do right there. But yeah, right now I can just go ahead, and I believe I just fire off an Earthquake this turn, which is going to do not as much as that's thought to this Blastoise right here. I thought it might take a little bit more, but I can go ahead and use my kyurem-black as a pivot. Unfortunately, as you guys are going to see, he's going to burn my kyurem-black, but I guess in hindsight, my kyurem-black should be dead right now, so it doesn't really make that big of a difference. Fusion Bolt's going to go ahead and wear this Blastoise down, as he actually reveals some tech right here with the Aqua Ring, and you guys are actually going to see he's going to have Protect this next turn, so it's kind of more of like a bulky stall Blastoise right here. I'm assuming it probably had Toxic on the set too to go ahead and add on to the effect of his Aqua Ring stuff right here, but I'm just going to go ahead and leave in my kyurem-black. I really have no value on the burnt Kyurem, so it's in range of everything right now, even Specs Koko, and obviously it is burnt, so it's not going to be doing too much damage. Just going to continue wearing him down as he chooses not to protect because I could always choke and switch out that turn. Just goes right for the Scald, and I believe this last turn he does go right for the safe Protect right here. As obviously I have no reason to save my kyurem-black right here. It's definitely my best play to just leave it in, and it's going to go ahead and go down this turn, so Now what I can go ahead and do is bring out Mayazelf right here, fire off that nice Electrium Z, and because of all that Fusion Bolt damage I got onto this, it's able to go ahead and knock out that Blastoise, which is very good right here. Koko comes back out. Now I'd really have to be careful about this Koko because my two responses, Diggersby and Jolteon, I really need to preserve right here because my kyurem-black was one of my pivots. As this next turn I'm going to go ahead and bring out Diggersby right here as he goes ahead and fires off yet another Thunderbolt, so he's making really safe plays with this Koko right here and it's really not working out for him. I make a safe play of my own right here, which is definitely going to cost me because had I clicked Fire Punch that turn, I could have actually just secured the game right here, but unfortunately I did click Return, and that is going to be a Mega Scissor coming in. So Torn comes out right here. He's going to go ahead and double out into the Keldeo. This is actually perfect because my Torn is designed to take on a Keldeo. Even like Choice Scarf Stone Edge will not be doing too much damage to me right here because I do have a lot of HP investment. So I'm going to go ahead and I believe just fire off the Air Slash this turn, as unfortunately he goes out into the Koko. Once again, I make a safe read right there. Could have easily gone for the Sludge Wave. I'm pausing so much. Let's continue right here. I'm going to bring out my Diggersby right now as he finally makes a play and goes for HP Ice. This play right here is really bad. I should have just either gone Jolteon or Fortress. Fortress, while the red card could have been useful, I feel like I can pressure Hawlucha with my Torn if I get that region health late game, and I really should have just preserved my Diggersby at full health, seeing that it actually does so much work, especially because that's an offensive Mega Scissors. So I make a misplay right here as he's going to go ahead and bring out his Keldeo this next turn and take this Earthquake with it just fine, and I make another bit of a misplay right here. I expected him to not be Choice Scarf Keldeo, as he may have been like maybe Scarf Koko based on that damage. I didn't actually calc the Hidden Power Ice. It was definitely Specs, but I really didn't calc it at all. So he's going to go ahead and bring out Keldeo. With a Scarf, I go ahead and go down this turn, which is definitely... I should have gone Torn. Torn would have been able to take two of those and just sponge the hit very easily. Although I guess in hindsight, I do need Torn for the Hawlucha at this point, even though I have my red card intact, because that could definitely be a threat if he burns the red cards. So this next turn, he's going to go ahead and just sack off the Keldeo to my Torn right here. But at this point in the game, I'm really weak to the Koko. My one response is Jolteon, and Jolteon is not going to take this well hit at all. He's going to go ahead and bring it out right here and go right for a U-turn and bring out his Mega Scissor. Now, I was under the impression that with my investment, I was actually not speed crept for the Koko right here, that I might have been able to take this Bullet Punch right here, but I'm assuming he was like Max Attack Adamant or something like that, because this Bullet Punch does knock me out right here, and I did have Hidden Power Fire, so if I was able to go ahead and pop that off, I probably lost to Koko anyway at this point. Like, Koko just clicks Thunderbolt 3 times now and basically wins the game, so all I gotta try to do right here is try to bag any differential I can. As you can see, I played this match really poorly. It's not as bad as the first time we played, like, that Season 7 Week 3 I messed up really badly, but in this match I ended up sacking all my Koko responses, Diggersby, Jolteon, and Kyurem, before the Koko ended up going down right here, so definitely not my best performance, but it's definitely fine right here. We're still gonna be 6-1. Spoilers, I do lose this game to Koko in the end. Well, actually, I don't even think Koko ends up coming back out. I get some luck right here, dodge a Stone Edge, and end up hitting this with an Air Slash, and basically what I have to hope right here is that he's not Choice Specs Koko, which I still, for whatever reason, did not calc against Diggersby, but he's going to go ahead and bring it out right here. I have to hope he's not Specs and I live, but he is. I could have Sludge Wave that thing, but at this point in the game, I have to go Azelf right here. Assume that I take a hit because of the terrain, and because I actually don't have Flamethrower on the set, I go ahead and double out into my Fortress this turn. A little bit of a misplay. He goes for a knockoff. His counter is going to be doing a good amount of damage right here, as he's going to go ahead and start to SD up, and I'm going to go ahead and counter again, just kind of hoping that he chokes and attacks me, but at this point in the game, Fortress can't even take on the Koko at all, so he's going to go ahead and knock off this turn. As I go for the Volt Switch, another misplay on my part, could have bagged the differential, but in attacking me right there, with the terrain up, he definitely knocked out my Azelf with the Koko right here, so he's actually going to be able to take a 2-0 win right here versus a 1-0. I go back to Fortress in the hopes of maybe having something happen, but it's not going to work out right here. He's going to go for a knockoff, and then Bullet Punch will be able to OHKO my Azelf. So, I don't know, against Storm, it always seems to be the electric types. Last season it was Zeraora that ended up getting me late game, and this time I sacked all my Koko responses. So yeah, definitely should have made some better plays this game. Should have preserved my Diggersby. That could have been great late game, just spamming ground type attacks, especially if I was able to get rid of the Hawlucha right here. But it's okay. We dropped to 6-1, which is still a great record. Next week we battle Bash and his Texan Raikus. I'm not losing that game. I battle him tomorrow, and I want to stay undefeated against NPL Minors coaches. You may remember in the IBL, I was able to go ahead and toss over D-Train and Dr. Slacking, and in my opinion, Bash is a better battler than both of those players, so I definitely want to see whether I can go ahead and come out on top right there. And being 3-0 against players in that league is definitely a pretty cool accomplishment, so ideally we can go ahead and pull that off, and I'll see you next week. Later.